Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's been a minute. Been like 2 months, over 2 months, since I've done an episode on here. My name's Kirk Morris. This is the Pal Down Podcast. I'm the goalie guy of the Heavy Hockey Network, I guess you could say. The reason why I've been doing episodes, just stage fright, imposter syndrome, depression, whatever you want to call it. I am the Jack Campbell of the Heavy Hockey Network. There you go. There's my explanation. My confidence has been shot, but I'm working on my stuff here. Yeah, I had an episode recorded a little while back there, but it got lost at sea, and we'll just leave it at that. But anyways, so a lot of stuff happened here in the last little while. The regular season has been completed, and boy, oh boy, some of the matchups here. I am going to give you my predictions, but first off, I wanted to talk about the women's hockey world hockey championships, and I did get to sit down and watch the final game between the Canada and the U.S., and boy, oh boy, it was a barn burner. It was very close in the first two periods. And then U.S. kind of took off there in the third and beat Canada 6-3 to win the gold medal. First time since 2019 since U.S. has won the gold medal at the World Championships, if my memory serves me correct. Canada played well. I'm just going to, cut right to the chase. Canada played awesome. The one thing that was missing in their mix of ingredients to win the gold was finishing. They had plenty of chances. Literally had the U.S. Hemmed in their own end for a good portions at times, and then they were on their heels. Canada was on their heels, and all I can say about the U.S. is shout out to Hilary Knight, man. Like. She has hit the century mark. Actually, she ended up with 101 points. She had a hat trick for the Americans, and just another otherworldly performance by her. Actually, by the whole U.S. team there. They really locked it down there in the third period. And Canada really once Canada was down 5-3, they were literally floundering and couldn't generate any chances whatsoever. But a lot of people are talking about Hilary Knight, and is she the greatest of all time? Is she reached an attained GOAT status? Her 9th gold medal she won there tonight, or World Championship trophy, whatever you want to call it. Pretty awesome stuff. That's pretty rare, pretty much rarefied air if you want to talk about best of all time. Definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer and all that good stuff. So yeah, like I said, once again, congratulations to the United States women's hockey team. A well-deserved win, especially when they locked it down, like I said. Moving right along, I am going to talk about the goalie tandems in the upcoming playoffs, which ones are the best. I do want to start out with my predictions, though, at least the first rounder predictions. I took a look at all the goalie tandems, and there's a couple that really I find intriguing. I've been listening to Kevin Woodley there. He guest spots on Jason Gregor's show there in local radio here in Edmonton at TSN 1260 in the afternoons on, like I said, on the Jason Gregor show. Generally, he's the first guest of the day on that show. And last week, he talked about Minnesota's tandem, quote unquote, of Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafson. As if everybody knows, Minnesota had a good burst, like I guess the last quarter of the season. They shot up the standings. They nearly took the Central Division. leaving Winnipeg and Colorado in the dust, and then Colorado showed up when they needed it the most and blew by them and won it all. But I found Kevin's statement there the most interesting, and he said in expected goals for both Marc-Andre Fleury and especially Filip Gustavsson, who got traded to the Minnesota Wild this past off season, and he said that the expected goals of Filip Gustavsson was actually ranked better and higher than Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins. If you've been living under a rock, let me just say that the Boston Bruins are it's a regular season for the ages. They broke the season, the regular season record with 135 points, a team total, and it's pretty much a slam dunk. Pretty much a slam dunk for Linus Ullmark to win the Vezina this year. Pretty much a Triple Crown winner of goals against, save percentage, and wins. If I'm not mistaken, he is the wins leader. Just insane, or record overall, I guess you could say. Well, just impeccable. But that tandem of Marc-Andre Fleury and Filip Gustavsson pretty much was on point the last half of the season. If my memory serves me correctly once again, Filip Gustavsson had a better goals expected against save or percentage over Linus Ullmark of the Boston Bruins. Yet they only performed, I wouldn't say suboptimal, but a little bit lower. But that's the one thing you need in the playoffs, man. You need solid goaltending. And I want to state this right off the hop. Everybody is set at 0. It's a fresh start. Anything can happen. The dance is starting to play. Everybody's got a dance partner. It's time to, as one of my favorite movie quotes of all time, Woody Harrelson in Zombieland, it's time to nut up or shut up. And I think there's a few teams that are going to surprise everybody. I tuned into Oilers, a special edition of Oilers Live there tonight. Both, like I said, the head honcho there, Mr. Michael Hebert, and his co-host, Dash in the Park, a.k.a. Mike Dashney. They both talked about who's going to be the surprises, and they both actually picked Winnipeg. Let me hear. I got to consult my notes here because I did have. Oh, pardon me. Dash said Vegas. It was Mr. Michael Hebert that said Winnipeg in 7 in their predictions, and I kind of laughed because as most Oilers fans out there, there was a toss up between 3 teams that we could play. We could play either Winnipeg, Seattle, or the big shocker was a rematch of last year's first rounder of opponent of Los Angeles. Basically, there's a lot of chatter about Winnipeg and how difficult of an out it would be in the first round, whether in local media, like I said, TSN. Winnipeg was one of the biggest disappointments of the regular season for me because they played damn well. Like the first half of the season, they were lights out. They were first in the Central. I thought they were going to run away with it, and then they sputtered and then they practically died. They literally scrambled into the playoffs. It was right down to game 81. They scratched their way in past Nashville, and it was a 3-horse race there between Winnipeg, Nashville, and Calgary. You want to talk about disappointments? I will talk about Calgary in another episode because boy, oh boy, that's probably one of the biggest disappointments I think for a lot of people. Everybody had Calgary etched in as a postseason team, and it didn't happen for them. Now, as far as I keep rambling on here. the goalie tandems here, like, just you go down the list. Like I mentioned, Marc-Andre Fleury and Philip Gustafsson. There isn't really a lot of, rock solid tandems, especially in the West, besides them two. And it's going to be interesting how everything gets played out. You take a look at the East, and I mentioned about Ullmark. Both him and Jeremy Swayman were a pretty damn good tandem. Like they were actually bulletproof when called upon. Both goalies, they had their moments of, they slipped, but they didn't fall. And you take a look past those two teams with their tandems, I don't think there's going to be very many clubs after those two that are going to, do the back and forth. They're probably going to pick with a goalie and stick with it. And as far as I know the Oilers the best, I think, the far away winner here is Stuart Skinner. Jack Campbell is he's gaining his confidence back. He had a good couple outings there right before Stuart Skinner there went on a run. And pardon me, both of them found their game really, really well. The Edmonton Oilers were the best team, I think, since January 9th after they lost to LA, ironically. They went on an impeccable run there. I think their points percentage was the best in the league at .776. Even better than Boston, believe it or not, which I'm still shaking my head over that one. It's pretty incredible what they're doing. And it was all to the thanks of Stuart Skinner. All-star Stuart Skinner, I might add you, and potential Calder candidate. I would say Calder finalist, pardon me. I think he will. I think it'll be him and Matty Beniers for the Calder in the finalist area there. He might win it. You never know, but a lot of chatter about Beniers winning the Calder this year. And it'll be interesting to see who wins that. But anyways, I digress. You talk about they're matching up against Los Angeles of Korpisalo and Copley. Phoenix Copley had a hell of a year. Like, he came in basically, and I would say save Los Angeles season, but he's been quite leaky at times. And I think that's pretty much, how can I say this? Los Angeles's duo there of Korpisalo. Korpisalo came in at the trade deadline. I thought he played well, being on a new team and whatnot. But as a whole, I don't think Los Angeles is as sturdy and as capable as the likes of Edmonton to knock them off. I do, however, think it will be a tough battle for Edmonton, no doubt. The last two meetups there, they both had strong games defensively. So it's going to be interesting to see how that matchup shakes out. I had Edmonton at 5. They're going to win it in 5 games. But you take a look at others, like you take a look at our teams like Winnipeg. They've got Hellebuyck and Rittich. I wouldn't trust Big Save Dave if my life depended on it. I would stick with Connor Hellebuyck. He is another Vezina finalist. He's a damn good goalie. I'm just going to leave it at that. And same thing with Jake Ottinger. There's Jake Ottinger and Scott Wedgwood there in Dallas. I really think that Jake Ottinger is the best goalie in the West. Or one of the best goalies in the West, I should say. Next to the tandem of Fleury and Gustafsson. It's going to be interesting to see how those two fare, against each other. It could be some battles of the ages there. It's going to be close. I think it's going to be close anyways, but it'll be interesting how that one plays out. I have Dallas in 7 in that one between Dallas and Minnesota. As far as, let's see here, Colorado and Seattle. Seattle, I think they're basically playing with house money. They've got nothing to lose. It's going to be interesting how Colorado, fares. I think they're going to do well. I had Colorado here in 6, I do believe. Just hang on a sec here. Colorado in 6. I think Seattle is going to be a little stingy. Philip Grubauer, revenge tour. He could play lights out, but Colorado's offense, man, of like Mikko Rantanen and Nathan McKinnon, the likes of those two. They've got a solid offense. It's almost like a blitzkrieg at times there too with their speed. I think Seattle, they can be damn good. They're very streaky. I think like especially in game, they can come at you in waves there as well. But I think they'll sputter out here towards the end. And like I said, Colorado in 6 for them. And then you go off to, pardon me, I forgot about Vegas there too. Before I hop off to the East here, but Vegas Golden Knights and Winnipeg. And like I said there before, a lot of people are they're wondering what the outcome is going to be. I took Vegas in 6 just because, like, once again, they had excellent offense. The biggest weakness on Vegas is no doubt their goaltending. They're resting their laurels on the backs of Laurent Brossoit, who I think has played well since coming back from injury. He had double hip surgery there last off season, and then he had a couple nagging injuries here. Was placed on IR. Came back towards the end of the season there. Took the reins from Jonathan Quick. If you don't know, Jonathan Quick got traded there at the trade deadline in a little. I was actually kind of hoping for a Vegas LA first round matchup, which didn't happen, but I would love to see Jonathan Quick play against his old team and stick it to him, but unfortunately that's not going to happen. But Jonathan Quick has been okay. I can see why he got traded from LA. The Los Angeles needed shoring up in their goaltending, which they got, like I said, with Jonas Corposalo from Columbus. But yeah, no, as far as Vegas goes, allegedly Mark Stone's is in the works to come back in their lineup. That will round out their offense up front. So yeah, as far as Vegas goes, unless if Winnipeg, finds an extra gear to really take it to them, I've heard people talk about Winnipeg winning, pulling one out, which wouldn't shock me actually, but that'll be an interesting one to watch there too. And now I'm gonna go off to the East. I want to start out here with with New York Islanders and Carolina. You want to talk about tandems? Sorry, everybody, my nose is running. I picked New York Islanders in 7. Their tandem there of Ilya Sorokin and Sergei Varlamov. Boy, oh boy, you want to talk about an opposing? They could be real stingy, I think. Anyways, Carolina's tandem of Freddie Anderson and Antti Ranta, just, I don't know. Carolina lost two important pieces there up front. Evgeny Svechnikov and Max Pacioretty, they're both gone for the rest of the year. But I thought Carolina sputtered there at the finish. But it'll be interesting to see. Freddie Anderson's never won anything huge in the postseason yet. It just seems like he's awesome during the regular season. He's lights out. Just that's the way his history's been, in Anaheim and in Toronto and now in Carolina. It's just, he can't, I think if he blows a tire here again, you bring in Peter Kochetkov to kind of, buoy him forward, because I know Antti Ranta has been on a real good streak there too, but both of them have had, hampering injuries there in the past, and if they break down again, it's going to be interesting. like I said, Ilya Sorokin can steal games. Goaltending is everything in the playoffs, man. And Sorokin's one of the best in the league. I think he's in my top 5 there for Vezina this year. He just literally stood on his head. I know the Islanders' offense has literally sputtered at times. It's literally dead. You know, it needed to be resuscitated there a few times. Losing Barzal didn't really help him either, but they managed to pull off a wild card spot there in the end. Next up, I'm going to talk about Toronto and Tampa Bay. This one makes me chuckle, man. It really cracks me up. I once again, you know, Toronto Sports Network is in Toronto itself. There's pumping the tires of the Leafs. You know what? I'll believe it when I see it when they actually win a round of hockey or playoff hockey. I'm not gonna talk smack. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. But Matt Murray, I would be very, how can I put it? Yeah, Ilya Samsonov, he's had a hell of a year. I'll give him that. But like I said, the playoffs, that's when the music's really starting to blur, and they're on notice. Actually, the entire team is on notice because Kyle Dubas he's transformed that lineup, and he's done all he's could there to help the guys out on the team. Now it's up to the players, you know. And Ilya Samsonov, he's resurrected his career on the laurels of the regular season. As far as I'm concerned, he's played awesome hockey. I've watched him closely. You know, a former first round pick for the Washington Capitals. He's had a couple, stumbles along the way. I'm not going to lie, but overall, he's outperformed Matt Murray by a country mile. And Matt Murray's just another one of those guys that gets injured a ton. You know, and like I said, Dubas took a wild gamble on bringing 2 brand new goalies to start out the year. It's kind of like Jack Campbell there in Edmonton. You know, you don't know what you got until you actually play him. And Matt Murray there at times has stumbled quite heavily, to say the least. And Ilya Samsonov is really he's really, you know, propped him up there at times there too and kept him in games, no doubt. But against Tampa Bay, you know, you take a look at Vasilevsky, he's still the best in the world, man. As far, in my honest opinion, he's still the best. I think it's going to be a redo. I think it's going to be a carbon copy of last year. I think I'm taking Tampa in 7 because I just don't trust the Leafs. And just that group has not won yet. Until that group, like I said, until that group wins a round, I will not believe in the Toronto Maple Leafs. Excuse me, it's just not in the cards as far as I'm concerned. Just it's too volatile of a lineup, and you've changed half the roster, especially at the trade deadline. You know, you're a good third of it there anyway. So it'll be interesting to see. You know, prove me wrong. That's why I say the Toronto Maple Leafs. Prove me wrong. Up next, like I said there before, Boston and Florida. Boston's got a hell of a tandem in Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. This is the only sweep in my predictions for first rounders. I took Boston in 4. I just don't trust Florida's tandem with. I know they're riding hot hand with Alex Lyon. He basically saved their season there too. You want to talk about one man performances? You know, he basically stood on his head there for, I would say, the last 3-4 weeks of the season. Held him in there, gave him a fighting chance, and the team responded in front of him. So yeah, it's I think Boston's way too strong. They're too deep. They know how to be a team down. It's just no doubt about it. No doubt about it. And finally, the last one out of the first round, New Jersey Devils and New York Rangers. New Jersey, I think surprised pretty much everybody from that 12 or 13. I think it was a 12-game winning streak there at the starting of the season. 12 or 13, I can't remember off the top of my head, but and then they played it safe the rest of the way. Vitek Vanacek, he played strong. He made the stops when they needed it. The same thing with Akira Schmid. They called him up from Utica as a number 3 in their system. He's done actually quite well, according to Kevin Woodley there too. His expected goals just in the stratosphere. So I don't know if they trust Mackenzie Blackwood to stay grounded, because it's basically Jekyll and Hyde with Mackenzie Blackwood as their number 1. So who knows? They might keep they might bring up Akira Schmid there if needed be. But Vitek Vanacek, I wouldn't be surprised if they start him in game 1, just because he's been the guy for the Devils the entire year. As far as the Rangers go, Igor Shesterkin. I'm bloody terrible with names. I apologize, folks. Shesterkin, he can win games for you, man. Just like any other great, gifted goalie. The Russians, they've got a lot of good goaltenders there, and Shesterkin there, not the greatest of seasons since last year. He won the Vezina last year. And this year it's been kind of a topsy-turvy type of year, but he has performed well when called upon. Yeah, the entire team there, that Ranger team could be deadly there too. Bringing in the likes of Patrick Kane and Tarasenko there as well from the Blues. Very pretty potent lineup. Lots of offense, that's for damn sure. You got Kreider, you got Zibanejad. Lafreniere can show up when he wants to there too. It's going to be interesting. That series will be damn close, I think. A lot closer than what people will think. But I took the Rangers in 6. That's about it. Like I said, with the tandems there, man, once you get past all Mark Swayman, it's Shesterkin, Halak is pretty damn good. Sorokin and Varlamov they're ironclad. They have been all year pretty much, After that, it's just, do you trust the likes of Sergei Bobrovsky if Alex Lyon falls? Because he has played decent there towards the end of the season as well. You got to wonder. You got to wonder, man. It's going to be interesting to see how this all plays out. I do, the next episode, I'm going to talk about the teams that didn't make it with what they have in as far as goaltending depth and whatnot. But I wanted to keep this a half an hour here tonight. Recording this here on Sunday, April 16th, the night before the playoffs kick off. Wanted to get this puppy in here and raring to go. So, like I said, the next episode here in episode 10, I'm going to talk about the Connor Bedard sweepstakes as well. I listened to Soups on Hockey here today. He talked ad nauseum about Connor Bedard, and that's a damn good hockey podcast. Soups on Hockey. Go check that out on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts. Tyler Campbell, man, he's an awesome hockey mind. I listen to him whenever he puts new material out. Heck of a smart hockey guy, no doubt. I would like to give a shout out to World Hockey Report. Go check out heavyhockey.com. Bruce McCurdy there from the Cult of Hockey there at Edmonton Journal. He's been writing for us, guest writer here and there. He wrote a 2-part article on Oilers dynasty teams, and then I do believe Michael said that he just dropped the second part of the article here today. So go check out Bruce's work. When it comes to the Oilers, man, he's probably one of the best for the historian side, even right from the WHA days to present. Bruce is hard to beat, man. A hell of a hockey mind there too. Talk about anything there, especially with the Oilers. Shout out to everybody that checks our workout. Like I said, at heavyhockey.com. We've got a lot of new material coming up on the site. And like I said, I hope to have more and more material coming up here in the near future with the playoffs kicking off here tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for checking this out, man. And I hope you guys enjoy it. Enjoy the playoffs, man. Enjoy the chaos, because it's this is it, man. The dance is starting, and all the dance partners have been assigned. It's going to be awesome to see playoff hockey once again. I'm Kirk Morris. This has been Ballad on Podcast, episode 9. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one.